Hello. Hello, 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 hello. It's Mo. So, a while back, I put on social media, YouTube and Instagram and all that I was requesting for you to write to me and tell me about your holiday traditions. And it could have been any holiday you wanted. Most people, you know, mentioned Christmas, of course. That's kind of the big one, right? So anyways, I have in front of me just 2 pages of people's holiday traditions, and I am going to read them. And I certainly hope I didn't miss any. Sometimes it gets a little confusing, but I think I got them all into one document. So if I missed yours, I'm really, really sorry. But I don't think I missed anybody's. So, anyways, I'm going to kind of read these out, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my own traditions that I had growing up. So, these are in absolutely no particular order whatsoever. So, here we go. So, Andy wrote in and he said getting together with friends and a weekend of board games, laughter, good food, and shenanigans, which I think that's a really fun word to say. So, shenanigans. Shadles. I hope I'm pronouncing these right. I'm probably going to butcher several of these names and screen names and all that, so I'm sorry in advance. But Shadle says, my family celebrates Christmas, but instead of stockings, we have German boots. My grandparents lived in Germany while they were in the Air Force and continued the tradition here. We use Mod Podge and decorated ours with all different prints. I wish I had a photo to share of all of our setup. She also adds that my grandfather passed away today. It's a tradition I want to keep up. So I was really sad to hear that. I know that can be a very difficult thing to lose someone that you love. I also was extremely close to my grandpa. I called him Opa. Same. They were over in Vienna, Austria for a long time, so I have that German background heritage kind of thing. Austrian, technically, but anyways, moving on. So Robbie says, at Christmas I stay at home with my parents. Every year we eat lasagna and lamb chops with baked potatoes. I love that so much. I've never heard of Christmas lasagna, but I think that is excellent. He adds, on the last day of the year, we eat a lot more than Christmas. Before COVID, we celebrated with friends of my parents until midnight, then toasted with sparkling wine or other wine and panettone. Then we give each other gifts like it is Christmas. I hope we can do it soon when COVID is gone. I think a lot of people, kind of grieve the before COVID traditions and get-togethers, and it's interesting when something's taken away from us. We realize how much it matters to us, and hindsight can be 20/20. So, anyways, okay. The next one is virtualized. My holiday tradition was spending time with my grandparents, but since my parents are getting divorced, they seem very distant. And that's basically all they wrote. So, I'm really sorry that your parents are getting divorced. I know that can be very difficult and emotional. Any breakup or change of that scale can be very hard. So I'm sorry that you're going through that. Nigel says, a Christmas tradition that my family does. It started back in the late 1970s. My mom brought a snowman that was about 18 inches high. It contained small little gifts like you would find in a Christmas cracker. Over the years, the snowman would be placed on the Christmas dining table, and we would buy a small item to go inside it that we would then hand out between the main meal and puddings. I love this idea. Eventually, the snowman fell into disrepair and it was binned. So what we did was have just a small amount of gifts, say worth no more than $10. I love this. I carried this tradition on when I had my own children. Last year, we were going to have a big family Christmas, our first for a long time. So I remade a snowman and got everyone to place the gifts inside as before. Parentheses, I made it a little bigger as there were 13 of us. My youngest, 15, was nominated to pull the gifts out at the appropriate time and hand them out. So it was a tradition reinstated as before from way back, which is cute. Cecilia, you asked about Christmas traditions. Like most Swedes, we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, not Christmas Day. And at 3 p.m., we all sit down to watch the Disney Christmas special from all of us to all of you on TV. Kind of weird, but that show is usually amongst the top 5 most watched television programs on Swedish TV every year. I did not know that. That's wonderful. So I am 1/4 Swedish. I did not know about this. My Oma let me down. I'm gonna have to see if I can watch it. I don't think I've ever seen that show ever. But I do have to agree with you. Christmas Eve is my preferred day. Christmas Day isn't as special to me for some reason. Maybe it's just the anticipation, or I don't know. My Oma and Opa used to come over on Christmas Eve, so maybe it was just really exciting for me growing up to see them. I don't know. But anyway, so the Disney Christmas special, from all of us to all of you. Okay, moving on. This one is from Mark. Our family always made it a point to get together on the holiday. That was always the best feeling. Simple and sweet. Mike says, Hanukkah lighting the menorah every day and opening the presents. Billy, we always go to the local pub for drinks and to celebrate with people on Christmas Eve, like the whole village comes out. And on Christmas Day, we have our immediate family around to ours, and we cook together and exchange gifts. So, I'm picturing, and I have no idea if this is remotely accurate, but it just seems so quaint, and just like these little village where everybody comes out and goes and drinks, and the feeling of community must be through the roof. I am truly envious of that. Yeah, that's really a beautiful thing. Maybe I'll move. What village is this? Okay. Sean, we do an ornament exchange instead of presents. I love that as well. I'm definitely, I'm not as big into presents, especially as I get older. It's just one of those things where I just want to spend time with my family. And unfortunately, I work in the medical field, which is not unfortunate. I'm very fortunate to have the job I have. But hospitals are 24 hours a day, right? So I normally end up having to work most of the holidays, and it makes getting that time very difficult to see my family. So it's a little bit hard, but it's okay. So Al says, when I was a kid, we used to have to wait on our grandparents' porch, no matter how cold or windy or rainy or snowy it was. We had to wait till my grandmother was ready, because when she opened the door, every adult and kid, which included 9 grandsons, had their own chair for presents that she had stocked the whole year, for it was quite the scene every Christmas. I love it. It's really cute. You can just picture the little faces waiting. So, Vizesh says that he goes to a beach every Christmas and he sleeps all day and then he parties at night. That is possibly one of the more unusual Christmas traditions that I have heard of, but hey, I'm a big fan of the beach. So, Jan, I'm guessing it's Jan, but it could be Jan, depending on pronunciation. He says, regarding some old or not questions about Christmas traditions, this is mine for Christmas. So, A, 12 courses. 12 courses. He doesn't add any more, but I'm assuming that means food. 12? Oh my gosh, I don't even know how I would be able to ingest that amount. Anyway, so B, it says carols. C, Christmas tree. And then D, he says talking together. I could say more, but I'm going to university. I'm guessing he was a little bit busy at that time. So those are all the ones that people wrote into me. I love them all. They're so wonderful. So I'm going to just mention a few of mine. So like I said, Oma and Opa, my grandparents, would come over every Christmas Eve, and we would be able to open some of the presents Christmas Eve, and then my sister and I would be, of course, sent to bed, and we would have pizza for Christmas. And I'm blanking right now if it was Christmas Eve or if it was Christmas. And I know it sounds really odd, but we didn't have pizza ever at my house growing up. Ever. And so it was really, really special when we got to have pizza. So that was kind of a really nice treat. But anyway, so we would go to bed, and my sister and I would sleep, and then she was always up before me, and she'd wake me up. And Opa and Oma would be sleeping downstairs. So we'd have to go past the living room in the early hours of the morning. And she and I would always, I don't know why, she wouldn't want to look at the Christmas tree. She wouldn't want to look at the presents. She would just be like, no, we're going down. And so, of course, I'm the little sister, and I'm trying to get her to at least look at the presents. But she never did. Her strength of character was too strong or something. Anyway, so then we'd go downstairs and we'd crawl into bed with Opa and Oma, and then we'd all wake up, like, together, and mom and dad would be upstairs, and they'd start cooking breakfast. And I think the three of them would get up. I probably would fall asleep again, knowing me. And then eventually we'd sit down and have like a really wonderful breakfast morning. And then we'd open up presents and stuff. So that was our kind of how our Christmas went. We also would have a puzzle out somewhere, and the next few days we'd put together a puzzle. And yeah, open up our stockings the morning, all that good stuff. Anyways, this is a little short and sweet little video, but anyways, I really appreciate everyone who wrote in. I couldn't have done this video without feedback, so I really appreciate it. And whatever you're doing, for whatever holiday you are celebrating, I hope it's going really well, and that you're safe, and you're warm, and you feel loved. Everyone should feel loved, especially around the holidays, but in general. Anyways,